Well, we'll all get our under things tangled up in a knot over this one. I'm going to suggest right off the bat that the whole thing is just a reality show, and that perhaps we are making it seem a bit more important than what it really is. But first I have to dichotomize what I'm talking about. That division will be between the entire show titled The Trump Administration, starring the 47th President of the United States, and the actual things that are being done that should be paid attention to. As always, I've given myself a buffer between what is going on and when I publish an episode with my comments about them. This time around, that buffer is almost 2 months. It continues to seem counterintuitive. I should be writing this frantically and then getting it up and available right away. However, talking about these things in this fashion, knowing that you are seeing or listening to them several weeks after the event, well, that kind of forces me into the so-called evergreen type of material. It also gives me the room to write, rest, review, rewrite. It also gives me the room to take a step back and make sure I'm not just ranting on about events. And it reminds us of events that have been buried under the onslaught of following events. The barrage of events that number 47 is supposedly responsible for has seeped way outside of the boundaries of the United States, from interfering in the Ukrainian invasion issues through the expansive tariff activity and passing through Yemen, Greenland, Panama, and El Salvador. It's not particularly easy to turn away from those events. They are becoming a worldwide issue. In my humble effort to keep somewhat informed, then, as I have consumed event-based content, I've begun to filter it into different categories.
Category 1. Informative content.
This is the content meant to inform the user. It is often produced by left-leaning creators who feel they are part of the war against disinformation, so the slant is often leftish. The right-leaning creators don't seem to be doing much informing. Their content is often transparently questionable. Both, though, must be vetted. Don't take anyone, me included, at face value. I will remind you all of the economist who mistook the G7 countries. There's a link where links belong that will take you to the episode that contains that story.
Category 2. Commiserate content.
This material contributes to the collective outrage many of us feel. It's sometimes informative, but mainly a bitch fest about this or that event that rightly should be bitched about. But that will also be forgotten when the next bitch-worthy event comes along, to which we may all bitch in chorus. This outrage is not only valid, it should be noted and not forgotten, though there is little chance you haven't already heard about the event and felt your own outrage. Misery loves company, and so...
Category 3. Actionable content.
I'm seeing this kind of content crop up a bit more recently, and remember, I'm typing this out in early April. Even when informing or bitching action is sometimes included, personal action, like call your congressman or join our march, that kind of stuff, is often included. More recently, I've been seeing content that has focused on the action itself. Thoughts like, don't waste your time trying to change their mind. Focus on what you can do to improve the situation, either in your own personal life or in the life that surrounds you. This is the type of message I hope to see take on a more prominent role. What category would hold my content? I'm not very informative. I don't consider myself a journalist at all. Others do that much better than I. I do include some bitching in my writing, so a bit of what I share is the misery. I do try to keep the bitching to a minimum, though. Do I call you all to action? in a way, I guess. Yeah, I think the main objective of my continuing to share these thoughts is kind of a call to action. So, what is the call to action this run around the track? Stop taking Donald J. Trump seriously. There is this across-the-board confusion between the character known as Donald J. Trump, the 47th President of the United States, and the actual construct known as President of the United States. And that confusion is contributing to the hair-on-fire, clutched-pearls attitude that muddies the waters we're all trying to swim through. Quoting my new favorite folksy singer, "The river's deep, the river's wide, and there ain't no way across it 'cept to swim or sink and die." And do go listen to that song. Links are where the links belong. The events described within it are now in our recent past that seems long gone, but they remain as memorable as they ought to. The character named Donald J. Trump is pretty well known to us all, and taking that character seriously is a startling reflection on our own character. Let me inform and bitch at once. He's a liar, a scummy con man. He's ugly as shit. He's an old fart with no shame or personal inhibitions. He's been a terrible boss, a horrible businessman. He's even got a track record as a wretched POTUS. It would be difficult to accept that he won another election were it not for the reality of the Electoral College and Super PAC donations. Now, on the one hand, it could be argued that this character got his arse into the Oval Office again exactly because enough voters really didn't take him seriously. Evidently, some 6,265,000 voters thought either that he wasn't going to win or was the better choice. That's how many voters dropped out of the blue column in 2024 from 2020. How many "we don't take his run seriously, there's little chance he'll win, I'm just staying home" voters were there among those 6,265,000? Or how about the "I'm switching for whatever reason, I'm just switching teams"? Or "I just can't vote for someone who is for abortion"? Or "a woman president over my dead body"? Or the worst, "I think the Republican candidate will do more for me and our country"? That's a kind of taking seriously that is probably the most dangerous, as it has led us to where we are. But the seeming taking him seriously that is going on right now is where the confusion comes in. The man is now President of the United States. That executive position in the United States government is actually a kind of conundrum of power and impotence. Power given to the position through legislation and simple reverence for the person who is able to get into the seat. Impotence because he is one man, hopefully someday a woman, against a whole lot of men and institutions that are constantly trying to stop him from doing what little he can actually do. The confusion lies in assuming that reverence towards the man or woman who is able to get into that office actually means anything. Winning an election does not mean that winner was qualified. The gravitas of the office of POTUS does not magically make the winner qualified. That's what people hoped for in season 1 of the Trump administration, and those people were sorely disappointed. Despite promising that he would be presidential, he simply reinvented presidential in his own image, one that is far from presidential. automatically considering an unqualified person a serious agent simply because he or she is now President of the United States is what leads to the panic and hysteria when that person acts outside of what is expected of a President of the United States. The idea that this one is even better because he acts outside of what is expected is a sign of blissful ignorance, a stupidity that allows you to really believe him when he lies about Social Security or border walls or the dangers that abound no matter what they may be. It's too late to do anything about that one. Kool-Aid has been imbibed. But wait, I'm talking about serious, intelligent people taking this clownish reality actor seriously when he puts on a show like the recent Liberation Day episode of his reality. The stage was set with the backdrop of 9 huge U.S. flags. A military band played an overture before the Hail to the Chief. A podium with a presidential seal awaited the main character, who sauntered out, waving to a crowd of costumed union workers with reflective vests and hard hats, combined with the usual suited sycophants. The speech was gibberish, as we are accustomed to, full of lies, twisted insults, a few improvisations, and plenty of things. Good things, so many things, some bad things, a lot of 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 bad things. They did things, a lot of bad things, different things, buy things, a lot of bad things, all of the other things. That's 12 things. Some overuse of ever and never. Greater than ever before. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. Wealthiest it has ever been, at levels never seen before. Worst trade deal ever made. Worst trade deal ever made. Worst trade deal ever made. There's never been probably anything like it in the terms of the enormity. Like we've never seen before. They never spend money like that. I never thought I'd see the day. There will never have been a transformation at levels never seen before. More than any president has ever had. The most vicious gangs ever. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. The best border that we've ever had. We've never had anything like that before. The most incredible bill ever passed in the history of our Congress and Senate. Would have never happened were I president. Somebody please fire the scriptwriter. The desk he sat at to sign the EO was tiny. Was that an optic meant to make him look like a giant of a man? It might have been the same tiny desk he sat at near the end of his first season of the Trump administration, aired back in 2016 to 2020. The executive order, the thing itself, was huge. He signed it with one of those big fat Sharpies, and like a kindergartner writing his name with one of those big fat pencils, he holds the thing up to show us his work. You can almost hear him saying, "Look, Grandma, this time I colored between the lines." And come on, how can you take the entire episode seriously once you find out about the tariffs leveled against some penguins? Now, I'm not saying that the whole tariff thing shouldn't be taken seriously. The consequences have been mind-blowing in just the first 2 days, but again, come on, the guy does his shtick for the trained crowd. Applause signs are raised at just the right moments, a cardboard poster too small to read is brandished. Then the guy gets on a plane and spends a couple $1 million of our money to fly on down to Florida once again. How can you take this guy seriously? Really, I'd love a world leader to simply say publicly,
We don't take the President of the United States seriously as a valid moderator of the situation. We refuse to sit down with Donald J. Trump because he is obviously not a serious interlocutor. We will sit down with any serious member of his team to try to deal with the situation, but we aren't even really going to take his tariffs seriously either. They are obviously not a serious action by a serious person. They are globally recognized as a foolish, stupid, idiot act of a foolish, stupid, idiot person. We will cease all commerce with the United States until such a time as whoever is dealing with global commerce over there demonstrates that they are a serious actor with serious concerns and non-harmful, intelligent suggestions for actions.
would that be so hard to say? Canada comes oh so close. And now, a few days after my having penned everything up to this point, my mate calls out to me to tell me that the tariffs, except those levied against China, of course, have been put on hold for 90 days. And before the metaphorical ink dries on that last affirmation, the tariffs on electronics have been relieved. Go out and buy an iPhone, quick! As the main character says, this is a great time to buy. And you are still taking this bozo seriously. Why does it have to be some innocent boy who points and says, he's naked? What's wrong with those who have voices, platforms, real stakes in the game, all world leaders who take the current POTUS seriously just because he's POTUS, are not taking their own gravitas very seriously? They have no problem lashing out at Putin with criticism and sanctions. It's time to become serious and criticize and sanction the actions of this oh so unserious man. Stop getting all excited about what Donald J. Trump does. He is the sideshow Don in this cheaply produced reality show. It's really time to go after those other people who are backing up the idea that 47 should be taken seriously. The acolytes, the spokespeople, the sycophants, the congressmen, the senators, the Karens, the MAGA idiots. None of them are being held accountable either. Donald J. Trump may be above the law, but all those others are not, or let us hope they are not. Oops, I forgot about those he pardoned at the outset of this season. Yes, this essay was begun on the 5th of April, and I've come back to review it on the 9th, and now, today, the 14th, thus the new information about the 90 Days of Grace and the electronics relief bestowed upon us in his magnanimity. Is that how you say that word? Magnanimity, yes. And you're listening to it sometime after the 19th of May. It will seem to you that a lot of water has passed beneath the bridge, that the whole tariff thing has come and gone, though I doubt that will be the case. It will only seem that way because the world will have been trying to take another 30 or 40 unserious actions seriously. Or maybe a few less. This season of the Trump administration has the main character making many fewer appearances than the other time. He's mainly sitting at a tiny desk signing those big EOs with his fat Sharpie pens, or wandering out to a helicopter that will take him to a plane where he will stand in the doorway of the hallway that leads to the toilet and say half a dozen ungrammatical sentences in non-answer to someone's softball questioning. It will be those others that we should be taking seriously that will be doing the real damage. Let's go after them, shall we? That's my real call to action for this time around. Links are where links belong. Please remember to
Listen, like, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. Cheers. The speech was gibberish. That last sounded like a sentence fragment.
You're listening to Radio Revel.